All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to give you a quick update on Elephant Money. This is evolving quickly. There's a lot going on already with this project. If you didn't know already, I just did a video covering the fact that there was enormous exploit on Elephant.money. Lost about 90% of the Elephant tokens of value. The treasury of Trunk was raided. Stampede, those rewards was basically raided. If you haven't watched that video, I'll link it above. You can go ahead and watch it just to get you caught up, though, on what's happening. Over here on Twitter, shout out to Crypto Slow, another YouTuber. I saw he posted this. And he basically talks about the attack at the Elephant status is a traditional price manipulation attack. This is a common type of attack that we'll see sometimes in decentralized finance, using a flash loan to manipulate the price very, very quickly, and then it creates a chance for exploit. Blocksec went on to say, we will use the following transaction to illustrate the process. The attacker borrowed 131,000 WBNB and 91 million using the flash loan. Then the attacker swapped the 131,000 WBNB and 34,000 Elephant tokens. The attacker mint Trunk token by providing BUSD. The vulnerable contract will first swap BUSD to WBNB and then use Elephant to buy Elephant. During this process, the price of Elephant will raise, and the attacker got the Trunk token. The attacker can then use the obtained Elephant in step 2 to swap more WBNB. The attacker redeemed the Trunk token in step 3 to get 36,000 WBNB, and however much that is, a lot. I think it's 66 million BUSD. Since the token value after the attack is more than the cost, the attacker can get around 4 million USD profit in one round of the attack. The attacker can repeat this process, which in fact they did. I will link this Twitter down in the description, at the bottom of the description, so you can see that as well. There's also the developer himself has been updating over here on a Medium article. There's about 5 or 6 updates. I'm going to go through each one of these quickly for you also, just to keep you up to date, because I know many of you don't have time to follow this. Subscribe to the channel. Click on that bell notification icon. I will do my best to stay on top of this for you. First of all, this is some better news. I'm not going to say it's great news. We're not out of the woods yet, but there is some better news taking place here. And I'm going to show you exactly what I've done in my portfolio when it comes to this project as well. But first, let me go through what Bankteller, his updates are. Then I'll show you what's exactly happened to my stack of Elephant tokens and what I have done since my last video and just before my last video. So reserve exploit, again, this link will be down in the description. We are investigating a coordinated exploit by several bad actors in the space against the herd. Before we get into the details, just know the quality of your enemy will improve with success. To start, we have not been administratively hacked and nothing has changed on the network from a contract perspective. Please reference the past activity of the Elephant deployer to confirm. Okay, I'm going to read through this just because it's the first update here, but then I'm going to go through the rest of the updates. Several smart contracts and resources were used to automate an attack against the Elephant treasury. We are currently investigating the specific transactions and attack vectors used to remedy the situation in the short term. Action we are taking now. We are pausing the reserve, which will disable Stampede, and the minting redeeming of Trunk. We are working with our partners at Certic and Insurace to investigate this attack. Action you should take. Do not sell. This is very important that he said this. Normally, you would expect a developer to say this anyway, but this time it seems like he might have had a little bit of substance. Again, nothing in this video is financial advice. This is just my opinion based off of real-time facts that we're seeing right now. He said, do not answer DMs. Your funds are safe. The base layer of the Elephant Money platform is secure and has stood up to this challenge. The exploit of the reserve will be addressed, and we will move on. This is when we start getting into the updates. Now, I'm going to share with you my whole thought process from my personal perspective and my personal opinion once we finish going through these updates. First of all, update number 1, the exploit was executed in a single smart contract transaction located here. We are working with our partners to investigate this. All of this was basically covered in this tweet right here. The Elephant Reserve has been officially paused. Here are the details, and he includes the transactions on the blockchain. Stampede and the reserve will no longer function when trying to execute transactions. If MetaMask says transaction will fail, it will, and you will burn BNB unnecessarily. You will continue to earn Stampede rewards throughout this process. Reserve reward pools will be adjusted down from the inflated numbers created by the attack. Trunk rewards and performance pools will be adjusted to 2.5 million and 500K respectively. Update number 3. The official loss from this exploit is 27,000 BNB, valued at $11.2 million at the time of this writing. Update number 4. In a recent design series for the next release of Stampede, this particular exploit would have been fully covered as we switched to using PancakeSwap as a primary redemption mechanism, fully insulating the elephant treasury. We are currently at version 4.2 of Stampede and the Reserve, which has performed better than any previous version and used PancakeSwap for redemptions conditionally. It took a significant amount of capital to bust through the system's defenses, over $261 million in volume. Just know that we are approaching an unstoppable tokenomics and that there are those out there that will stop at nothing to prevent cash flow for all from happening. Okay, first things first. This project from the very, very beginning had a lifespan. I've talked about that on a previous video. Then he goes on to say, there are those out there that will stop at nothing to prevent cash flow for all. And he's trying to create this straw man enemy. And listen, I'm just being honest here. I'm in this project. I'm here trying to recover my own funds. But ladies and gentlemen, you got to be objective. There's two mentalities in crypto. There's tribalism, where it's like my project is good and your project sucks. That's ridiculous. The name of the game is to extract value out of as many projects as you can, knowing that most projects in crypto, most cryptocurrency projects, most of the top 50 cryptos right now will fail. Their business models will fail. They will not succeed. So the goal is to extract value and have a plan of extracting that value so you can put yourself in a profit position or a risk-free position in your investments. That is the goal. That is my goal in nearly every investment that I have. I'll talk about that in a moment. But first, I cannot stand this straw man enemy. Like there are people out there that will stop at nothing to prevent cash flow for all. No, the reality is they were out there trying to steal a whole bunch, tens of thousands of dollars worth of BNB. They weren't thinking about you and me and cash flow for all. And second of all, this concept is so freaking stupid. This has been one of my number one complaints about Bankroll. He always acts like he's trying to create some sort of socialism experience and experiment, and none of his projects have done that successfully. This is a man that has probably had more than 10 smart contracts, and he's always claiming cash flow for all, cash flow for all, and most of them are ridiculous. All of them have a lifespan. Elephant Money, the way it was designed, it had potential to be one of the most sustainable, and I found it very interesting. However, this is a garbage concept. Elephant Money has defended against all manner of attacks since its inception a year ago. This exploit got through, and its delivery was planned and timed. Absolutely, I believe this. If you go look at the chart, when the price started stagnating, that's when this attack happened. Whether it happened on the inside, and I'm going to assume that it didn't because there's a lot of updates here. It looks like there's a lot of work. So I'm going to assume and hope that it wasn't an inside job. But even if it was on the outside, somebody was very carefully watching the price. And when they thought the price kind of was consolidating, they decided to attack then, thinking that price could drop after that consolidation potentially. We are building this solution for generations to come, and we must be tested. Again, garbage hyperbole for generations to come. This project, my guess, wouldn't have made it 2 years. And if it recovers now, well, I'll get to that in a moment. I'll get to that in a moment. On a final note, I would be wary of investing in or supporting any auditor, dev team, investor, etc. that is high-fiving at the expense of a shared community. I agree with this. This is partially tribalism. There are people commenting on my last video like, oh, serves you right. Serves who right? Sir, we're on the same side, ladies and gentlemen. We want to see crypto succeed. I don't care if you're in Drip. I don't care if you're in Titano. I don't care what project you're in. At the end of the day, we're here to extract value, and at the same time, we want to see the crypto ecosystem, the decentralized finance space, succeed. This bullshit about high-fiving at someone else's expense, that's ridiculous. Of course, he's trying to galvanize his audience here, and he wants them all to, coalesce around Elephant Money. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm keeping you updated, but if I interject here, and if it sounds like I'm frustrated, there's certain things that I see over and over again that keep people broke. Tribalism keeps people broke. At the end of the day, I want us to win. Every time bad actors win, it hurts the entire space. I agree with that. There are prominent teams that were aware of weaknesses and stood by and did nothing at your expense. I believe this. Again, it's tribalism. That is ridiculous, and it is unfortunate. Even after I and other community members asked them to disclose, it is not my job to call them out explicitly, but you know who you are. I don't doubt this. He does this to sort of plant a divisive seed. I don't like that. He does this to try to create loyalty in his project. I don't necessarily like that, but I do believe he's right, ladies and gentlemen. We have to be able to think for ourselves, and we got to be careful for who we're choosing to trust in. Even me, don't trust in me. You know, I have certain moral or maybe fantasy type beliefs about the world. I want everyone to be able to rule themselves and to rule their own finances. And in order to do that, we have to make independent decisions for ourselves. So just be very careful of who you follow and who you trust in, even Bankteller himself. That's oftentimes why on my channel, people get confused. They're like, do you like the project? Do you not like the project? Do you like drip? Do you not like drip? The truth is, there's some things I like about it, some things I don't like about it, and I will comment on both. I believe I'm doing my viewers a disservice not to. All right, update number 5, and I believe this is the last one. This is important. This is incredible. This is one of the most prominent updates, or one of the most positive updates. The BUSD Treasury has been tapped to rebuild the Elephant Treasury, which has always been the plan for Stampede version 5. In the upcoming version of Stampede/Reserve, the Elephant Treasury will be used to pay out yield only. Redemptions will be handled through PancakeSwap exclusively. This is interesting, and he's saying this: if this had happened, then the attack would not have been able to happen. $2.5 million in BUSD has been deployed to the Elephant deployer, with another $2.5 million ready to be deployed after community members have a chance to DCAN. The exploit will be patched, and we will move on. He's basically saying that the Elephant token will likely rise, and people have time to be able to DCAN. That's not financial advice on my part. I'm reading, that's what I get out of his, basically this will be fixed after people have a chance to DCAN. So I'm reading that as he expects price to ultimately go up. The Elephant deployer will forward funds to the Elephant Treasury once a viable emergency patch is in place. Here are the latest Elephant deployer buys for review. So the Elephant deployer has been making buys through a smart contract. During the aftermath of this attack, you will win big if you hold and DCA Elephant. He's literally telling you right here to hold or buy Elephant. That's literally what he's saying right here. You will only lose money if you sell. Do not sell. You will realize unnecessary losses. This wasn't okay, first I want to say right here, this is strong language. You don't ever know if it's just Kool-Aid, if it's just rhetoric, or if it's the truth. You never really know. That's the bottom line. Last sentence. This was an attack on our liquidity, but we have built a large war chest. Yes, we're in a fight for change. Again, this is rhetoric. This guy should be running for some sort of a politician or whatever. We're fighting for change. Cash for all. Like, where's that cash going to come from, moron? Anyway, this was an attack on our liquidity. This is very encouraging because, when this first happened, most of us didn't understand what was going on. The Elephant liquidity on PancakeSwap is fully intact. This was an attack basically on the liquidity that was used to pay out rewards for Trunk and to pay out the peg. So let me just refresh this to see if we have another update or if we're done, because I keep coming back and there's another update. Okay, so far we're on update number 5. And again, subscribe to the channel. I'll keep you posted. So let me just show you what I've been doing. Listen, I didn't like seeing that big red candle earlier. I didn't like seeing this as much as anyone else. This is a horrible thing. You don't want to log in and see this. I actually didn't think it was real when I first saw it, because I didn't see none of this. It was just a candle down. So I literally thought I was just looking at a chart glitch, because every once in a great while you'll get some crazy glitch like that. And then I realized, oh, wow, this is real. And that's when I started figuring out what in the world is going on here. Right now, what he is showing, if you go over to Elephant Money, the way I understand it, basically, the trunk, you have, rewards here that get paid out. You get an APY here. Right now, 829% APR, so people are loving that. And the Stampede pays out 205%. Supposedly, that's the goal. That's the idea. Now, this APR is so high, probably because it's paused, so the contract looks like there's nobody in there. But as people go in, this APR will drop back down. My understanding is the rewards here that get paid out, I think what he's saying is you're able to redeem your trunk for 99 cents. And I think that they're basically saying that redemption now is going to go through exclusively on PancakeSwap. So I do have a question about that. Right now, trunk is selling for like 0.59 cents or something like that. It's way off peg. It's selling very low on PancakeSwap. But if you redeemed it on the platform, then it would pay out for 99 cents. That was the whole idea. And the platform helped arbitrage PancakeSwap. So if I'm understanding what he's saying, they're going to rely exclusively on PancakeSwap the free market to maintain the peg. And I may not be understanding that correctly. So if I'm not, then someone can definitely correct me in the comments. But PancakeSwap's not going to maintain its own peg. Again, there's something there that I could be missing. So that's my big question at the moment. However, the Elephant token has started with all this positive news, and with that deployer contract buying, it has started to improve a little bit. That looks better, doesn't it, when you can take that big red candle off? I actually had about $9,500 or so that I had put into Elephant. Maybe it was $8,000. I have to go back and look at my spreadsheet. That's what I had in here. So when it had dropped down, I was all the way down to like $1,100, just under $1,100 is all I had left. Like basically 90% of it was gone, period. The first thing I did was sold. I thought, you know what? I'm going to get out what I can. $1,000. Okay. I wasn't too worried about it because I have an entire strategy when I go in and when I take profits. I mean, on every project. Now, I did go in about double my typical size with Elephant because I was so confident in what was going on here, and I didn't expect an exploit. I mean, I didn't expect any more than I would any other time. And Bankteller had been accused of basically creating contracts that were prone to exploits in the past, so I had assumed this thing had been audited twice. You know, you just assumed just maybe everything was going to be okay with this project. But obviously we know what happened. So after it dropped down, I sold. And then within about 30 minutes, I kept thinking about it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going back in. Forget it. I'm going to go back in. So I jumped back in at that point because I figured I'd lost 90%. What did it matter? I jumped back in. And then I saw these green candles starting. And I thought, there's some potential here. So I bought 2 BNB worth. So my 1,000 ended up being about $2,000 roughly, and we moved a little bit. And that was a super degen move, by the way. That is mega degen after this kind of drop to buy in. But here was my thinking, and I've never bought in on a project after a drop like this. I've been rugged many times, and if it happens, you just let it go, you move on. You cash out what you can and move on. Before I saw the updates happening, I saw the green candles, and I thought, you know what? Bankteller's always had a really strong community. So I decided, I'm just going to jump into this thing because at this point, listen, if something drops by 90%, that means you got 10% left. So if I had $1,000 here and it went back up, my $1,000 would be worth, $9,000 or $10,000 total. You're basically going to get a 900% gain on the way up. So if I added funds and it went up, then it doesn't have to go all the way up to the top up here for me to make profit. I need to get back, let's say $12,000 because I got to pay taxes if I want to break even. And so I go in here, I got 2,000 and it's been riding up and it's going up significantly since I jumped in. This is where we're at right now. So originally I only had like 23 billion. And then we had to drop, right? And I brought in another BNB and that took me up to 64 billion because it was 90% cheaper. And now we're riding back up. Listen, after taxes, I'm already at 4,500. It doesn't got to go up a lot more. I mean, if we double from here, I'm going to be almost whole. And if we do 150% more from here, then I will definitely be whole. And that's after taxes, not financial advice. That's just what I'm thinking. If you want to understand exactly like my full strategy on how I go into projects, how and when I take profits, I have a plan. Every single time I go into a project, I have a plan. I have a plan on how I choose projects to go into. I have a plan on how much I go in with and how I determine that. I have a plan on how I take profits and where I take profits, and I do it all strategically. And it's a way to be able to, you got to have a plan to allow something to run, but at the same time, take profits without taking too much profits too early. Go down in the description, subscribe to our Crypto Passive Profits newsletter. I'm going to be working on something for our newsletter subscribers. I'm going to be putting it out here soon. I'll just say, I don't want to give you a date. I'm going to be putting it out here soon, but I'm going to start revealing my entire plan to my newsletter subscribers. Go down in the description, subscribe to our Crypto Passive Profits newsletter. Before we wrap this up, let's see if there's one more update, and I'm going to keep you updated on this project. Let's see. Nope, not yet. Stay tuned. Again, we don't know what's going to happen. This elephant money, in another hour, this token may just crash all the way back down. We literally don't know what's going to happen. But this is crypto. You got to be careful. You got to be safe. Take it easy out there. Decentralized cryptocurrency equals freedom. This is Crypto Wealth. I'm out.